Alright, in this video, I am going to share with you guys about the solution of the lesson A, the sinusoidal function application. So this one, they just want to focus on the sound waves. Something from the music class, we know about the loudness, how loud, the loudness, right? So in the math function, that is about the amplitude. When we look at the picture, you can see that the amplitude higher, bigger, right? So that will be more louder. So that will be the picture. And about the frequency of a wave, that is the pitch. So when you say you have a low sound, you have a low frequency, or you have a high pitch, you have a high frequency. But the picture, you got to make sure a low frequency, as you can see here, you have a very mellow. The wave is very stretched out. But when you have a high note, high pitch, that means you have a shortened wavelength. So the frequency is more frequent, right? So this will be the frequency indicate the pitch, okay? Now, the sound wave in this problem is given by the sine function, and as you can see, my A, B, C, D, location, so all they focus about it is the B value. So recall, the B value controls the period, but not the period. So part A, determine the period. Yes, we can do it. So we're going to use the 2 pi. So the period will be each individual for my G. So the sol, right? So the 2 pi divided by my B value give me is the 0.0051 and la. So that is equal to 0.0023 and D is re, right? And then that will be this one and one more E, me. So that will be my period. Good. Now, for the music theory, you may say that, okay, the pitch, the frequency, that means complete the cycles per second. So math people comes in. So we say that complete one cycle per second. So 1 second, 1 period. So you get the formula right here. It is 1 period over the particular sound, period. It's equal to my frequency over 1 second. So math people say that set this up, cross multiply, and housekeeping. So my x value is equal to 1 over 0.0051, and that gives me the 196.1. That is my frequency, okay? So each note has its own frequency. So you can see here that tells me the frequency for each music note. So now B tells us if 2 consecutive strings, so side by side, play together at the same time, how many periods will have elapsed for the sound wave from each string when the sound waves coincide at the midline and are increasing? Explain. Well, okay, talk about the music theory, right? So I recognize the notes G, D, A, E, so, re, la, mi. So for me, it's a violin, okay? So when we want to compare about the strings playing together, we try to focus about the ratio in between the strings. So seeing is believing, math people, all I care about are numbers. How can we play with the numbers? So sol, re, you can see those 2 strings. When you use the frequency to compare, you see a ratio. The ratio will be 1.5. And continue, when you use the DA, which will be re, la, those consecutive side-by-side string, you also have a ratio, it's 1.5. And when you use the la, mi, right? So the ratio is also 1.5. So math people will say that, oh, I see the frequency of the higher note is 1.5 times the lower note. So for the violin, sol, re, la, mi. So this will be the number comes in. Then you say that math people, we do not like decimal. So what can I do? So if you look at the first one, it is 1. The second one has the ratio is 1.5, right? So can everybody times 2? So if I times 2, I get the 2/3. So therefore, you can say that in the space of the lower, you get 1.5 higher. So you need 2 lower notes to match up the 3 higher notes. And that is the 2 and 3 comes in. All right, let's make more musics. If the first 3 strings are played simultaneously, so the first 3 strings, sol, re, la, mi, so I only play the sol, re, la. Okay, the 3 strings playing together at the same time, okay? So what will be this story comes out. So you know that math people, if I play those first 3, I see the ratio. Recall, I like to use the whole number. So from sol to re, I know that I will have a ratio, right? From re to la, I also have this ratio. Okay, so now what you see it as, if you start with the G, which will be sol, re, you need to have what? 6D. But the D also increased to A. The La. So therefore, the 3 and the 3 give you will be 9. And this will be the ratio through those first 3 strings. So, re, la. I don't know if that will explain well. I don't know so much about the music, but with the number from the math way, I got this to share with you. So don't let me be your limit, okay? Google more and learn more. Maybe you can come back and share more information and teach me better, okay? I appreciate that. All right, number 2 tells you will be another given equation about the sinusoidal function, about the sine function. So activate the eagle-eye, the A, B, C, D. All right, so what will be my highest one, lowest one? So the maximum, minimum. Start with your midline, D value, and plus the amplitude, get the maximum, and minus the amplitude, you get the minimum. Good. All right, period. Period is controlled by the B. So now we can just use the 2 pi because the sine function. So 2 pi divided by B value. What you see is what you got. So divide up the B value. So what will be the period stands for? It tells us how long it takes for the apple to complete one oscillation movement. Okay. All right, problem 3. So they're talking about the Ferris wheel. So yes, indeed, we see a happy equation. So yes, indeed, A, B, C, D. So the A is the amplitude, and the B. So the B tells you with the eagle-eye, that is equal to 1, okay? And D is my principal axis, the midline. And C, I see everything move to the right side, 1/2. So maximum, minimum, start with your midline. Maximum will be plus the amplitude, and minimum means minus the amplitude. Good. Period. So 2 pi over 1. What you see is what you got. It tells us it takes 2.28 minutes to complete the full ride. Cool. The last one, a person's blood pressure. So given this equation is a cosine function, okay? So log in what will be my A, B, C, D information. So the periods only care about is the B value. So what you see, it's what you got. And that's it. And part B, what does the value of the period mean? So that means the blood pressure cycle takes 0.748 seconds to go through a cycle from low to high or high to low. Good. And that's it. Enjoy and embrace the knowledge, and that's all. Have a good day. Thanks.